So what is Babban Gona? Babban Gona means in the language of northern Nigeria, great farm. And fundamentally, what we do at Babban Gona, we've been at this now, this is our 11th year. We've grown today to be the single largest corn producing entity in Africa. Working with our farmers today, we are farming an area of 170,000 acres of corn. So this is, to put that in context, that's the equivalent of about 12 Manhattans of landmass. I think we're very proud of the fact that Babban Gona, over our 11-year journey, has developed a model that has not only dramatically bettered the lives of our members by increasing their the average net income of a member to 2 times that of the average farmer in Nigeria. But we've also been able to do this in a way that has been able to enable our members to successfully adapt to climate change, as well as also play an active role in climate mitigation as well. As an organization, we've also been able to scale this model by attracting financing from organizations that typically would not finance small farmers in remote northern Nigeria. Over the last 11 years, cumulatively, we've deployed approximately $200 million in financing to small farmers and achieved a repayment rate of over 99% on average. Now, to go into the specifics of what we do and how we do it, I think before that, I'll just take a moment to explain why. So back in 2010, when we started down this journey, we recognized that one of the biggest challenges facing not just Nigeria, but the broader region was a dramatic rise in insecurity. We'd seen over the previous half decade from 2005 to 2010, the rise of not 1, not 2, but 3 insurgencies in Nigeria. And we recognized that this was driven by many factors, but primarily from the dramatic rise in youth unemployment. We'd seen in that period of time from 1990 to 2010, so a 20-year period of time, roughly 20 million youth entering an oversaturated workforce, triggering youth unemployment to spike over 60%. Now, from 2010 to 2030, now looking forward 20 years, the expected number of youth entering that same oversaturated workforce was 4 times. That's 80 million people in Nigeria alone. Put that in context, that's the population of Germany. And so what motivated us was recognition that if 20 million folks created Boko Haram, Niger Delta crisis, and the banditry crisis, what would 4 times that number do? So we committed ourselves to create 10 million jobs from between 2010 and 2030 by unlocking the potential of agriculture as a job creation engine for small farmers and creating market forces to draw millions of young people into the sector. And we set out on that journey, launching with our first farmers in 2012. Now, what do we do at Babban Gona? Well, fundamentally, what we do is recognize that the underlying structural reason why small farmers are poor is their low economies of scale. And those low economies of scale trap them in this cycle of poverty where they struggle to access the financing to buy the inputs they need. They often struggle to access the inputs themselves, the knowledge on how to use those inputs effectively. And then come harvest, despite their hard work, they have a meager yield. They are under significant cash flow pressure, so they have to sell a lot of their produce at low harvest prices. When if they could just wait 3 to 6 months, they could oftentimes get between 25 and 50% better pricing. So we recognize that this low economy of scale challenge was not unique to African farmers. Farmers in many parts of the world suffered from this challenge, but they used the power of cooperatives to unlock, to create these economies of scale. So we studied cooperative models very closely and effectively developed a model where we call an agricultural franchise, where we basically identify leaders of potential leaders of grassroots level farmer cooperatives, and we support them to build very effective and efficient small scale cooperatives. Today we are supporting over 30,000 of these small scale cooperatives across Nigeria. The process begins by identifying those leaders. We do this in a very systematic and scientific way. We have a psychometric test we've deployed now to over 250,000 farmers that effectively creates a credit score for a grassroots level leader. We then, once identified those leaders, we then work with them to build these mini farmer cooperatives, typically between 3 and 5 farmers. And then we, oops, apologies. And then we then provide 4 services to each and every member of those cooperatives. The first service is training on how to unlock the potential of the leader, training on how to migrate the farmers from a subsistence mindset to a commercial mindset and really start thinking of their farms as businesses, and then training on how to become better farmers. The second service we deliver is now the most important, which is credit. So we supply the farmers basically a holistic credit package that it finances everything they need besides their land and their labor. And we do this utilizing a risk mitigation mechanism we call our 8 levels of risk mitigation that basically mitigate for all the key risks of lending to smallholder farmers, including risks of climate change, drought, and many other key risks. And then we then deploy that credit in our third service as a holistic end-to-end input package that includes the highest quality seeds that are specifically designed to be drought tolerant to address for some of the uncertainty that climate change is creating. It includes an individual that, and all the inputs that they need. It includes an individual that visits their farm every 2 to 4 weeks to give them advice and guidance and utilizes some of the very advanced technology that today we actually, as Babban Gona, have the single largest technology team dedicated to smallholder farmers on the continent. We developed very advanced technology, including artificial intelligence applications that have been programmed with over 2 million images. And utilizing these tools, our field officers are able to identify problems on the fields before it is too late to fix, which is the key. And then we support farmers all the way down to harvest, where we provide them even the empty bag, the needle and the thread that they use to sew up that bag. Now, the final service and the fourth service that we deploy is now what we call our storage and marketing service. So we are able to, we've invested now in well over 100,000 tons of storage capacity. Our farmers are able to deposit their grains in our warehouses. We collateralize those grains, get them a loan against the value of those grains, so they have cash in their pocket at a time when they most need it. And then over the next 9 months, we have a dedicated team that helps to sell those grains and remits the profits from that transaction back to our members effectively as a dividend payment. So it is the fact that Babban Gona is really able to support farmers with a holistic end-to-end package that de-risks them, enables them to basically become very creditworthy, and has allowed us to unlock, as I mentioned, over the last 11 years, about $200 million in capital to support them. Now, I'm going to talk specifically on some of the things that we do with regards to climate change. And so on the climate change side, I'll talk about adaptation and mitigation. So on the adaptation side, clearly providing seeds that allow them to be drought tolerant, helping them to ensure that we've invested in not 1, not 2, not 3, but 3 different insurance products, innovative insurance products to help to ensure that they're also protected from these additional risks. And we have also actively helped our farmers, our members, diversify their incomes so that they actually are making income from a portfolio of crops, livestock, and then off-farm income opportunities, so that in the event of any particular shocks, they're able to diversify their income. Now, on the mitigation side, we are actively working with our farmers to basically help build up their soil organic carbon and ensure that they're able to, which in one stand helps to make them more resilient farmers, but also as playing a critical role. We also work with them to ensure that they are minimizing their carbon footprint by practicing practices such as microdosing of fertilizer and other activities, as well as ensuring that we're streamlining the supply chains and minimizing post-harvest losses.